Yo, yo, yo. TCS Radar, we are back. This is episode 20.
Yo.
We ain't going to really waste no time. Going to get it straight into it, man. First game that we covering this week was St. Paul Central versus Highland Park, man. So let's get into it, man.
Yep. All right, so you was at this one. And so this is a rivalry, definitely a city rivalry. Central got both Highland and Johnson as rivals. But what'd you think about this one?
Yeah, man. I mean, the rivalry, like back when we were playing, the rivalry, like that were breeding the home student body out, the crowd out, was Central versus Johnson. As you can see right there, it's Highland Park versus Central now. So it was like it was like that last year too, when they both played. I went to both of those games, I believe. We were at both of those games. So it was a lot going on, man, and it was just a fun, exciting game from the beginning, man. From the beginning to end, Highland Park definitely had the momentum in the first half. I think Central kind of came out a little bit flat, and Highland was willing to match that. They was willing to take advantage of that. Leo Clifford and Isaiah Davis was out here doing their thing. So both of them led with 22 points. They just they just played the game the right way. They didn't have too many bad turnovers. They didn't have questionable shots. To me, I feel like they both played the game at the right level, the pace, let the game come to them, and it turned out to be very exciting. But certain things just happen, man. That boy ET, Reyes, man, he just heated up. He hit about 6 threes, finished the game with about 6 3-pointers made, and
25 points.
Yep, 25 points. So I don't know, man. When you hitting like that, when you hitting like how he was hitting, it's like not really much you can do. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like you can't do much.
All right. Now it's funny because when you had hit the group chat afterwards, and ET went off. It's like ET, like we knew he could score. He knew he was a good player, but for him to be the leading scorer of the night, that just shows Central's versatility. So they can get it from anybody on any given night. But I just want to really quickly say about Leo and Isaiah, like definitely two players who got on our radar this year. I didn't even know Isaiah Davis was as athletic as he is.
Yeah, he's super athletic.
Yeah, he can get up there for sure.
Yeah, he's super athletic.
But yeah, and then Eli finishing with 16 in the game. Sefi finishing with 16 as well. So yeah, just a balanced attack. But what was the energy like in the building overall?
Oh, man, the energy was live, man. It was live, man. Like I said, the student body was out, so everybody was feeling themselves.
Right.
They probably got their friends, their loved ones, their people they hang out with at lunch in the crowd. So, the energy was definitely there. And, the student body was, each home crowd was, the home and away crowd was going back at each other. So, that was real fun. You could tell the players played off it well.
Right.
And it brought the energy because, a lot of times you could see certain players, they probably don't, express themselves, with a certain amount of energy, but that was not the case. So, Yeah, man, it was real good to see. I thought it was a good game. I'm definitely looking forward to the rematch when they play again. That's going to be something fun to see. And, yeah, man, shout out to both of them teams.
Right. So, for Central, they won that game 79-66, and they went on a couple days later to beat St. Paul, Washington. Pretty easy conference win for them for that. And then for Highland, let me just check real quick. And then for Highland, sorry, I take that back. Highland was the who beat St. Paul, Washington after that. And then Central, they had ended up playing, let's see, I got it right here. They ended up playing Johnson, which, of course, we're going to talk about later here because we went to that game as well. But they also played Minneapolis North, so we'll recap that too when we talk about Central again later. But, yeah, very interesting week in St. Paul Conference, games that we always looking forward to. So, yeah.
That's a fact.
And then Highland, so they got a couple I don't want to say easy games. They got a math and science, and then Como Park coming up before they play Johnson. So their first home game against Johnson is going to be in a couple weeks. That's probably not sure if we're going to be there yet, but that's one we're going to be looking out for sure. But yeah, what we got for this next game?
Let's get into it. Yeah, this next game, man, they got Washington Johnson girls versus St. Agnes. What's up with this game, man? You was in this building? You saw this game?
Yeah, so of course, Milan McCoy. That's some player that we've profiled before, and that we're always interested to see how she plays. And the St. Agnes girls team in general is a pretty good team this year so far, 11-5. So being a team in the conference, a private school in the city, but a team that we like to cover. And honestly, this one got out to a 12-0 start, and I think that's why it got away from Washington the way it did. And Washington is a pretty good team. They got a chance to win the St. Paul City Conference. But, yeah, St. Agnes got out to a 12-0 start and just didn't really look back. So it ended up being a 28-point game in the end, being 60-32. But, yeah, it was
That was a good move.
Yeah, definitely. No, it was a good game, a good display from St. Agnes. St. Agnes had a very balanced attack this game. Some of the stat line, you had Evelyn Keel with 18 points, Veronica Dam with 14, Elizabeth Lefasor with 13.
That's a good take and one.
Yeah, that's Lanaya Stewart right there. So Lanaya Stewart, that's only a freshman, so that's a player that we're gonna see a lot of coming up here. But yeah, for St. Agnes, that point spread, just shows it. And Milan McCoy wasn't even one of the top 3 scorers this game, so it just shows that they had that balanced attack. Lanaya Stewart with another score right there. We're probably gonna be hearing about her for sure. But as you see the scoreboard, 12-point game at that point. I'm getting down to the end of the first half. So Washington did put up a fight and try to stay competitive, but yeah, St. Agnes just jumped on them and it was hard for them to come back. But yeah, overall, I think St. Agnes had that balanced attack, like I said. But what was surprising though is after this game, St. Agnes had dropped the game to Maranatha, 92-18. At least that's what we've seen as the final score. So we don't know what quite happened with that game. We still trying to figure it out, and we don't see any stats for St. Agnes for that game. So
that's the main reason we bring that up, because you guys need to post the stats or post injury if somebody was hurt. Why? Because we need an explanation for that.
Yeah, honestly,
I would like one.
Yeah, because we know Maranatha is a good team. They lost to Two Rivers, which is a team that we saw earlier this year. So we know Two Rivers got talent. Maranatha lost to Mount Amidai. Maranatha lost to St. Croix Lutheran. So it's just interesting to see like matchups and final scores sometimes. It's like, man, what happened in that game? So very interesting.
Very much, man. We got another game to get to, man. Let's get to this next game.
Yep. So this next game here, as we said earlier, we was gonna come back. We was gonna come back to Central. So Central Johnson, Central second game this week. Hey, rivalry, city rivalry. You was in the building for this. Jo was in the building for this. What'd you think?
I mean, it definitely, the expectations coming into the game definitely were kind of met as far as like the crowd. I expected to see a lot of alumni, a lot of former players from each school there. So that was a good turnout for sure. The game itself definitely started off a little bit way slower. I know just from me watching it, it looked like Jermaine Curtis was a little bit hurt. I don't know if he had like an injury in the game before.
For Johnson?
Yeah. Right. I think they played Como. I think he may have gotten hurt in that game. But, it seemed like both teams kind of came out a little bit flat. You can kind of tell the butterflies were in the building for both teams at first as Tess gets the N1. It kind of woke up after he got that N1 a little bit for them because Central kind of started hitting a lot of shots after a while. But, yeah, initially that's kind of what I thought about it.
Right. Yeah, and it was 35-17 at half Central, so a pretty commanding lead at halftime. And then Johnson ended up scoring more second half points, but, once you come out with that deficit, it's hard to come back and close that. But, yeah, some of the stat line here. So we had Sefi had 15, Eli had 19.
And he had, I believe he had 13 in the first half.
Oh, okay. So slow second half for Sefi.
Yeah, I believe he had 13. I think he was a reason part of that big lead happening like that.
Right.
And he had some key assists too as well.
Right. And then the only two players for Johnson in double digits were Jermaine and Tavy. So Yeah, that's interesting. For the fact that Eli ended it with 19, like what'd you see from Eli? Did you see like a shift, like a takeover moment?
Yeah, he took over in the second half. He started being way more aggressive, and he basically went on a 9-0 run by himself at a certain point in the game.
Okay.
I'll try to show that, but yeah, Eli, Eli Bozeman's a kid that got talent. Like a lot of people are athletes. A lot of people are, they're good at certain things. He's good at like everything when it comes to basketball. Like when I look at Eli Bozeman, I don't really see a weakness in his game, like a flat out weakness where I could be like, you know what, that's his problem. I mean, I think people, at the higher level, they'll say something like, "Oh, his quickness or his athleticism." But as you see, like he's real good. I just want to look at some of the plays that he was doing in the game because some of them was just real impressive to me. He has good footwork. He's a soccer player,
right?
2-time athlete. So he just definitely just woke up in the second half and started being way more efficient. Right. And I expect that just from seeing him throughout the last 2 years. He's a clutch player. He gets to it. He knows his moves. He knows his spots. Look at that.
Right.
That's beautiful right there. Like, look at that.
It's that confidence, yeah. So what did you see with Johnson? What do you think they struggle with the most?
Their half-court offense, man. I know Johnson's a real dangerous team in transition. They can get out when they can get out and run. They got some guards over there that can push the ball, and they can in transition they can make threes. But in the half-court setting, it just seemed like they were real stagnant. It seemed like, like I said, the energy was just off from the jump. I've seen them play. I've seen their intensity. It just wasn't there at the beginning of this game. So I'm not sure if possible people were sick. I'm not sure what's going on. But all I know is in the half-court, it was real stagnant. It was real stagnant, and it looked like they struggled with that the most. So that's definitely something I think, that they – definitely need to, probably address going forward, and I'm sure they will. They got a real great coaching staff over there, and they do a hell of a job with them.
Right. So Central now sitting at what are we looking at? Central sitting at 11-2. So only 2 games they've dropped so far was a Minnehaha Academy game, and then they actually did drop the game against Benil, just a 4-point loss against Benil St. Margaret last week.
And they're playing down a player. They're playing down a player right now. Yeah, man, one of their big mans, Finn, he ended up tearing his ACL, so he's out for the season. But, we happened to talk to him after the game. He was on the bench. You see, on the bench sitting right there. He seemed like he was in good spirits. So he's there supporting his team and still being a good teammate. So that's good, man. Man, shout out to Central, man. They just beat Minneapolis. No, that's a good move by you. Like, look at that. Like, look at this whole play. That's what that was really the momentum builder. The momentum shifter in this game was this play right here because it went on to do two. It started right here. When Tess hits this impossible shot with, like, no time left.
Ooh. All right.
Like, that was, like, kind of – Johnson went on a crazy run at that point, and he made that. And then the next play, you'll see what happens again. The very next play, you have that happen, transition. That's a good move. Stop.
Ooh, was that not a travel?
I thought it was, but they let it go, I guess.
All right.
Maybe they thought he didn't have possession of the ball fully, but I don't know. But
that's all it takes, right?
That's all it takes, man. But yeah, man, it's gonna be real interesting, man. They just beat North. I know Johnson just went on the road. I believe they played a team in Wisconsin. They just got a W the other day, and I know they're playing Minnehaha Academy tomorrow. So
they was Johnson was in Esco, northern Minnesota.
Northern Minnesota, Esco. Yeah. Okay, I was getting them confused with Eastridge. Eastridge went to Wisconsin, I believe. Yeah, they went to La Crosse. But anyway, yeah, man. Yeah, real interested to see that game, that matchup between them and Minnehaha. I know there's going to be a lot of good basketball at that MLK event they got going. So we'll be there. We'll be getting some coverage. So for sure, man. So should we get to that next game?
Let's do it. Was in this game. Well, I was in the building for this one. Korean Mounds View. Suburban East Conference matchup. So, I mean, you think about the Suburban East, right now you got Cretan and East Ridge pretty much running it, and then you got the rest of the pack, and Mounds View being part of the rest of the pack. But, you got like Stillwater, Irondale. There's a lot of teams who are pretty similarly matched up in that conference after you get past Cretan and East Ridge. And this was one of those games where it was close in like the first, 8 to 10 minutes of the first half. So Mounds View was definitely giving them everything that they can bargain for. But as we see here with the pull up by Juju, one of the best shooters in the state, we believe. But yeah, Mounds View just gave them everything they had, and it was the type of game where players that we didn't really know about again. So that's the beauty of doing this. We get to go out to these games. We get to come across players we never seen before. So Mounds View, they had Andrew Aiken was their leading scorer on the night, 22 points, and we also had Reed. I'm gonna say this, Dave Fatur. So he had 14. And they led Mounds View. And then on the Cretan side, we had JoJo put up 21. Ty had 17. And honestly, Cretan was it was a game that I thought Cretan was just going to blow them out. I didn't really know much about Mounds View. So to see even some competitiveness was pretty nice to see.
Who was like some players that stood out for Mounds View to you?
So those two players I just said, you had Andrew Aiken, and then Reed as well. But you could tell that they moved the ball really well. So I don't know who their like star player is, quote unquote, but Rylan Happel, their point guard number 5. Just a lot of different guys chipping in where they could. Connie Muhammad, he seemed like a decent player. But yeah, then Cretan just came in second half, just handled business, and that was pretty much that.
Yeah, man, Cretan, I know like they've been kind of, they were ranked nationally real high at the beginning of the season. I think they kind of dropped from that. But I still think they're like a real good ball club, especially when it comes to down to section time when it comes to Minnesota. Like I know they're still a top team in 4A that people got to worry about. Like, despite what people think, they got JoJo Mitchell over there. They got Ty. They got Julian Smith. They got some guys over there, man. So that's kind of I'm a fan of them. I'm a fan of that team for sure.
Yeah, Dre Frierson Holly was another guy who played good. He's a football player as well. So I was impressed with what he was able to do. Zeke Gilbert, he caught a oop from JoJo in that game. He's only a sophomore, I'm pretty sure.
Yep, he's athletic too, very athletic.
Yeah, definitely. So all that to say, Cretan's a good team. We know they're a good team. Mounds View seem like they can be competitive. Mounds View has Park Cottage Grove next week, and they got Forest Lake. And they got Prior Lake as well. So good test for them next week. See what they can do. They did end up beating Irondale pretty comfortably. So when they play Stillwater, that's going to be interesting to see kind of like who's that third best team in that Suburban East Conference. And then Cretan, they went on in before this game, beat Woodbury, and in the game after that, after the Mounds View game, beat Providence. And so they got Irondale and Roseville coming up next week. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, man, I can't wait, man. This is episode 20, TCS Radar. We'll be back next week. It's gonna be a lot of basketball played tomorrow. We got 3 good games lined up at the MLK event, hosted at Johnson. Shout out to Johnson and the whole Eastside family over there for hosting that event. That's gonna be something good. And yeah, man, we'll see you next week. Yo.